Hello class. Today we're going to talk about the unit circle and more specifically how to find values of sine, cosine, and tangent from the unit circle. So here we have the unit circle, and it's important to note that the radius of the unit circle is 1. So that means all this length from my fingers, between my fingers is a length of 1. Okay? So we have sine, cosine, and tangent. Those are our three main trig functions here. And let's recall that sine of theta. Now, this, if you've forgotten, is theta. It's just what we use as a variable when talking about angle measurements. It's just like saying x, but theta specifically refers to angles. So sine of x, or sine of theta, is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Cosine of theta is equal to the adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is equal to the opposite over adjacent. Or we could also think tangent is equal to sine over cosine. So let's kind of think of some logic here. Say if I were to create, I will do this on a different unit circle. Say if I were to create a triangle like this, right? And I want to know, well, theta, that's going to be 45 degrees. But I want to know what the values of sine and cosine are. Well, this is a very useful tool because let's think about it. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. But we know that in the unit circle, our hypotenuse is just 1. So sine is really the opposite over 1, or just it gives us the opposite side. Cosine, so this would be the sine. Cosine would give us the adjacent over hypotenuse, but in this case hypotenuse is 1. So it gives us adjacent over 1, or it just gives us the length of the adjacent side. And so what that does is that gives us coordinate points. These are coordinate points where, like xy pairs, where the x value, that's this length right here, is just the adjacent side, which is cosine, and the opposite side, the y value, right? We're thinking of a graph here, right? This is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. This gives us the y value of the coordinate, and that's just the sine. It's the opposite over the hypotenuse of 1. So really, these values here are in cosine, sine form. So in my triangle here, 45 degrees, or pi fourths, I know that the answer to the cosine is square root of 2 over 2, and the sine of 45 degrees, or pi over 4, is the square root of 2 over 2. What if I had a triangle? Let's see, I'll change it in green. What if I had this triangle? I had this angle. Well, oops, no, I did that wrong. Let me get a different one. I goofed. What if I wanted this angle right here? And this we know is 300 degrees. Well, let's see. What is the hypotenuse is still 1. And so the sine is going to be the opposite over 1. So the sine is going to give me the y value, and the cosine is going to give me the x value of the coordinate, right? So cosine of 1/2, cosine of 300 degrees, or 5 pi thirds, is equal to the first value you see here, is equal to 1/2. Sine, on the other hand, will give us the corresponding y value. So sine of 5 pi thirds is equal to negative square root of 3 over 2. Now, what if I want to know what is the tangent? What is the tangent of 5 pi thirds? Well, I know that tangent is just sine over cosine. So can I say, and I'm going to write over here, can I say that that tangent of 5 pi thirds is equal to, let's see, sine over cosine. So sine is this, or it's the second one here. Can I say it's negative square root of 3 halves, all divided by cosine, which is 1/2. And yes, I can. And if I wanted to simplify, I would just divide the two, which, remember that dividing two fractions is the same as multiplying by the bottom's reciprocal? So this would really be equal to square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. I just took the reciprocal of the second one. And we just multiply. Well, we can multiply across, but this cancels. So negative square root of 3 over 1, it's just negative square root of 3. So that's our answer there. So going back to our main unit circle here, let's go over a few more examples and apply what we know now. So we know that these ordered pairs are the answers to our sine and cosine, where the first one is cosine and the second one is sine. So these are really giving us the answer in cosine, sine form. So say if I wanted to know what is sine of 7 pi sixths? Well, I would just go find the angle 7 pi fifths, and this is 0, and we go counterclockwise. If you notice, 0, let's see, 0, 30, 60, 90. Oh, we're looking in radians. 7 pi sixths. That's this angle right here. So, let's see, which one is sine? Sine is the second one. So sine of 7 pi sixths is just negative 1/2. Cosine, then, of 7 pi sixths is the other one. It's the first one. It's the x value. That's going to be negative 3, or negative square root of 3 halves. Okay? And then again, if we wanted to find tangent of 7 pi sixths, that would be the sine over cosine. So it'd be negative 1/2 divided by negative square root of 3 over 2, which, remember, dividing by a fraction same as multiplying by the bottom's reciprocal. So I can say that tan of 7 pi sixths is equal to negative 1/2 times 2 over negative square root of 3. These 2's will cancel, and we get negative 1 over negative square root of 3, or just 1 over the square root of 3. What if I were to ask, what is the sine? Let's see, what is the sine of pi thirds? Well, I'd go to my unit circle, and I'd be looking, and I start right here on the right side, and I go to the sine of pi thirds, and it's right there. And so my answers are up here. Sine of pi thirds is the second one. That's going to be square root of 3, 2. And cosine of pi thirds is going to be the first one. That's going to be the 1/2. And again, we'll find tangent. So tangent of pi thirds is sine over cosine. So that's going to be square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1 over 2. Or we can think of it as square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. The 2's cancel. And we just have the square root of 3. So that's how we find sine, cosine, and tangent from the unit circle. Our inputs are in here, and our outputs are on the outside, where cosine is first and sine is the second one. So that's all I have for y'all today. I made these 2 videos for us. The worksheet will be just one worksheet. So that's it. Have a good day. Bye.